Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nnaemeka. I just saw the news flash on the decision of the MPC, the central bank MPC, and it's shocking the steps they've taken with the monetary policy rate and the cash reserve rate. MPR at 22.5% and cash reserve ratio at 45% will not achieve the medium to long term plan that these guys desire. Let me tell us what will happen for the benefit of those who may not be so vast on financial matters. Monetary policy rate is the rate, discounted rate of the CB, in fact, of the banker to banker, the Central Bank of Nigeria. It's actually the base rate. What it simply means at MPR, that is the base rate of the Central Bank of Nigeria at 22.5%. That simply means any bank will now build upon that in their lending decisions to customers. And that simply means if you already have a loan with a bank that is going at 30% or 25%, the bank will have to adjust the rate by about 600 basis points to accommodate the 400 basis point jack up by the Central Bank of Nigeria. This is not good for productivity. This is not good for manufacturing. This is not good for honest entrepreneurship in the economy. This is going to send shock waves to honest enterprises and entrepreneurs. Now, cash reserve requirement at 45%. They want to, take out liquidity from the economy as much as possible. You see, there is something these guys don't understand. You see, these policies that they put in place will have worked. It's a neoliberal classical economic theory that will have worked in economies where 95 to 98% of economic activities are captured in the formal sector, and where it is believed that demand and the supply of the dollar or any commodity is determined by the force of demand and supply, honest transactions. Nigeria does not meet some of the assumptions that drive some of these economic theories that they are putting in place by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And I will explain this. Basically what they've done is to put the rate at the level that foreign portfolio investors that will inflow in dollars to buy those the CBN treasury bills, or to buy CBN bonds and all the rest of them, or listed securities or whatever. Now let me tell you what will happen. Basically what they've done, they are not going to attract any foreign direct investor. Basically, the hot monies will flow into this economy. There are people in Japan, in other places, that can take money from banks in their country at even less than 1% or 1%. All they will need to do is bring in the dollar, do a swap with the Central Bank of Nigeria. In such a way they will tell the Central Bank, hey, I'm bringing my dollar today at this rate. In the next 3 months, I'm going to take back, or 6 months, I'm going to take back my dollar at social rate, a band, and then they will pay premium for it. And the CBN takes their dollar, give them naira, they buy the bonds or they buy the T-bills. 6 months, they exit. Now, while they are here within that 6 months, CBN can use their dollar to play in the market, to intervene like they just did by giving monies to BDCs. This is just like giving Panadol for somebody that has headache. The headache is just the symptom. The person is suffering from a dangerous cancerous growth that is destroying him. Rather than take away the cancerous growth, perform surgical operations to remove the tumor, you're busy giving him Panadol to douse the symptoms of the headache, which is the headache, which is the symptom. I don't understand what these guys are up to. What they have done in one fell swoop is to totally destroy. They just want to see. The truth is, Nnaemeka's instruments will not work. Basically, what will happen? There will be so much, maybe 1 to 2 billion, $1 billion or $2 billion dollar inflow by foreign portfolio investors. And now we use it to shore up the dollar to naira, and maybe there may be stability around the 1,500 naira to $1 band over the next 1 week, and people will clap. Then afterwards, when the thing mature, when the people take back their dollar, what we need to do is to boost the supply side of the dollar. 90% of this problem are from the physical side. There is something Nnaemeka and those at the Central Bank of Nigeria are not seeing. Is either they are seeing it and pussyfooting about it or playing, see nothing, say nothing, hear nothing, or they are just trying to deceive themselves and deceive the rest of Nigerians. And this is the truth. In Nigeria today, between the 3 tiers of government and the 3 arms of government, we have budget expenditure appropriation of over 45 trillion naira between the federal government and the state government and local government that will be expended over this fiscal year 2024. Federal government of Nigeria has appropriated expenditure, budgeted expenditure of about 28.7 trillion. The states have their own, and the truth is, half of this money, or even more than half of these monies, are going to be looted. And when they loot this money, they will use this looted money to pursue the dollar. We have not taken urgent step to address the corruption demand for the dollar, which is at the root of our problem. I have given instances and empirical examples of why we are where we are today. Go and check the records. As recent as 2022, our total import bill was $60 billion. And if you look at the makeup of those import bills, you will see $24 billion was expended to import mineral oil, synthetic and refined petroleum products. 2.3 billion was used to import plastics. 800 million was used to import fish and the aquatic products. $450 million was used to import dairy products. Even palm oil, we imported palm oil, 600,000 metric tons. Most of the things we imported are things we will have produced here if we have physical governance, security measures, and the transparent things in place by the physical side. We have given them proposals. We have given them strategic work plan on how we can ramp up crude oil output, on how we can tie allocation of marginal fuels to people producing evidences of guarantees from first-class European banks, and then showing forth that they are going to be using the crude oil that will come from the marginal fuel will be refined here. Evidence and capacity that they can do modular refineries. Of course, they will have to dredge the waterways all the way from the Escravos through Ogara, through Cocoa, through Warri, all the way to the Niger, so that people can actually set up modular refineries by the banks and use bodies to move their crude. When we can refine everything we consume here, even the plastic that we spend $2.3 billion to import can actually be produced here. Industry is massively producing plastic. One of the major raw materials for plastic production is crude oil. Derivatives, crude oil byproducts. What is so difficult for these guys to comprehend? We are chasing the symptoms rather than tackling the root cause of the matter. The root cause of the matter is the criminal demand for the dollar. Even if you mop up all the liquidity in the system, even if you staff investors or honest traders or honest entrepreneurs access to Naira, can you deny the governors and the local government chairman and the leadership of the 1,300 MGAs access to Naira in their accounts? How do you stop them from using the Naira to buy up the dollar that you are giving to the BDCs and the dollars in the banking system? We all know the truth that these governors cannot loot. These local government chairmen cannot loot. These ministers cannot loot if they do not have assistance from the cowboys in the banking industry. What we should be thinking about today is what urgent Marshall plans do we put in place to devolve and restructure the security architecture of Nigeria in such a very measured and tactical ways that we can ensure protection of life and properties across every inch of Nigeria over the next 3 to 6 months. These are the kind of things we should be talking about. How do we stop the corruption demand of the dollar? How do we put in place measures to stifle the public sector officials from taking naira from Jack and FAC and IGR to buy dollar. The demand for the dollar, legitimate demand for the dollar for transactional purposes, would not have caused the naira to depreciate from 199 to 1650 over a period of 9 years. Go and check. Over the last 9 years, our total import bills, including monies expended on education and health, was about $451 billion. Our total exports, including monies inherited by Buhari in foreign reserve, including borrowings, new borrowings of $2 billion, including diaspora remittances through the former window of $168 billion, not even counting the informal inflows that came by way of dollar, cash, euro, and pound sterling. If we put all these things together, we will have had excess of at least $200 to $250 billion in our system that will have allowed this economy to be stable. That will not have even allowed the naira to go beyond 199 under Jonathan before he left. But basically, most of the dollar that leaked out of the system leaked because of the criminal demand from it. They transferred monies out that did not pass through the CBN window. They buy dollar, they put in the account, they wire them out to buy properties in Dubai, in Maryland, buy yachts, buy luxury things. Come on, we know what is happening here, for crying out loud. If these guys are serious, without chasing shadows, what they should have been doing now is to send an executive bill to the National Assembly to ban use of dollar cash in Nigeria. Make it compulsory that nobody should use more than $1,000 cash in any transaction, even $500 cash. Anybody who uses any dollar cash or seen with $10 cash that is more than 500 to 1,000 should be arrested and prosecuted, 2 years imprisonment without option of fine. Allow the policemen, if they see any dollar with anybody with any dollar more than 1,000, confiscate it, prosecute the person. Then there can be no dollar outflow out of this economy that is not done through the Form A and Form M windows, documentary letter of credit. So that even if you legitimately make your money, you want to buy a house in Maryland, you can show the evidence, fill your Form A or Form M, transfer your money. But we know that the criminal looters of this country, who have no honest enterprise, cannot legitimately use such documentary routes to move their monies out. So basically what these guys should be doing is to see how they can stifle the criminal and speculative demand for the dollar. But of course, they won't do it. We know they are chasing shadows. They won't do it because they are already planning for 2027. If they don't mop up the dollar cash and the dollar funds, how would they be able to bribe delegates and bribe electoral officials to help them rig an election? If they put in place these measures we are suggesting to them to do, which is the honest measures, how would they be able to pay bribes? We are in a very serious trouble in this country. MPR at 22.5%, CRR at 45%. This guy practically wants to stifle honest economic activities in the system. But he knows of a truth that the 45 trillion budget expenditure by the governors, the MDAs, the presidency, that 60% of those funds will be looted. It has become a systemic thing in Nigeria. What kind of country is this? Who is advising these guys? What kind of nation is this? They know the honest thing to do. They will not do it. If we have been spending $24 billion on white petroleum products or mineral oil, any honest government will be putting in place measures to ensure that we quickly ramp up refining within Nigeria to stop that outflow. If we have been spending almost $800 million importing palm oil, any serious government will put in place integrated and structured arrangements between the federal government, state government, and local government to develop 300,000 hectares of Tara palm plantation, set up cottage factories. Most of the fabricated equipment can be fabricated here in Nigeria to ensure that we cover the supply gap, domestic supply gap. If we have been importing 2-3 million tons of rice, rice is something that can be cultivated and grown and harvested in 6 months. Any serious government will put in place martial emergency measures and integrated arrangement between the state, federal, and local government areas to cultivate 1 million hectares of rice within this window and provide security in those clusters in such a way that we can be able to produce and ramp up 12 million tons of rice in Nigeria and half the price within the next 9 months. These are the kind of things right thinking people should put in place. But unfortunately, what we have today, they know the truth. See, let nobody be deceived. These guys are in no hurry to fix this land. They just grab power for the sake of grabbing power to continue looting for where Buhari stopped. May God have mercy upon Nigeria.